Prince Harry and wife Meghan Markle, they've just learned the hardest of lessons, which is, if you start a brawl, do not be surprised if you end up getting punched twice as hard. In fact, South Park has just knocked them out.
Harry and Meghan, they have got the South Park treatment. This is absolutely brilliant. Have a look.
We want privacy! We want privacy! Thanks for having us on the show. It's so awesome to be here. It's great. So let me start with you, Sam. You've lived a life with the royal family. You've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Where?
New book, Where?
Just when it seemed their saga had reached peak absurdity, rumors began circling that Harry and Meghan were gearing up to sue South Park. Picture it, a royal power couple filing legal briefs against a cartoon for poking fun at their very public privacy crusade. The headline practically wrote itself, but the reality was far less dramatic.
So they couldn't have imagined being made a laughingstock by the cult cartoon South Park.
There's talk that the royals are going to sue over this episode now. Would you recommend they do that, Kosha?
No. Look, it's speculation, but looking at their pattern so far, they do seem to be rather litigious. It'll never work.
According to insiders, tabloid chatter suggested their legal team was drafting complaints of invasion of privacy and defamation. But behind closed doors, aides were rolling their eyes. They knew that unleashing a lawsuit would only fan the flames, transforming a single episode gag into a non-stop news story.
We can be the people we talked about being, with no more worries about how we look or the image we project to people. What matters is what we have on the inside.
I don't think Meghan's buying it, Kosha, and I don't think there's much on the inside.
In TV law circles, it's well understood. Suing a comedy show is the fastest way to ensure your roast clips go viral. Every network would replay the funniest moments alongside commentary about the legal battle, giving the joke endless airtime. So instead of greenlighting court action, the Sussex camp chose silence. No filings, no press statements, just a collective shrug. That quiet response was more powerful than any cease and desist letter could have been. It let South Park keep the punchlines rolling while Harry and Meghan avoided starring in a real-life courtroom drama. By refusing to play along, they let the satire speak for itself and quietly moved on. Up next, diving into how South Park's savage takedown laid bare the flaws in their privacy crusade.
The whole thing was devastating, very funny, and it made Harry and Meghan a laughingstock around the world. And not just in the English-speaking parts of it, the Spanish one as well, and in France, and in Germany, and in Holland, in fact, just about everywhere. It has been devastating.
They pitched the worldwide privacy tour like a hush-hush retreat. Pristine white tents, mood lighting, and a backstage full of PR consultants vowing to shield every whisper. Instead, they built their camp smack dab in the media's crosshairs, complete with victim placards, a pity party playlist, and cue cards for Meghan's tearful soundbites. South Park smelled the hypocrisy and struck gold.
But there's so many moments of truth in that episode that makes it so funny. I mean, really, the episode, part of the episode called what they were doing a worldwide privacy tour, which is obviously a play on really what they're trying to do.
Every time I hear that, it's
fantastic
just so
moments
brilliant. A worldwide privacy
there were so
tour.
many brilliant moments in there.
In the episode, Cartman-style Harry rigs a giant banner reading royal complaints, while Meghan's cartoon self clutches a manila folder of grievances so thick it could double as a doorstop. They plunk themselves in front of Kyle's lawn, demanding silence while staging drum solos and hashtag campaigns. Every orchestrated sigh, every choreographed glance instantly became comedy fodder, and viewers couldn't look away. The real genius was how the show turned their own tactics against them. When Meghan lifted her hand to wipe away a fake tear, the scene cut to a montage of flashbulbs and rolling cameras, reminding everyone that this privacy push was anything but private. And Harry's on-air tirade about unwanted attention? Cartoon Harry was shown chasing photographers with a placard screaming, "Shame on you," as if to say, you can't hate the player if you're the one flipping the board. By the end, South Park didn't just mock their headlines, it held up a mirror showing how loudly two of the world's most famous people can shout for quiet. Coming up next, what Harry and Meghan said that set the stage for this brutal parody. Long before South Park rolled cameras on Camp Privacy, Harry handed them all the material in his own words. His memoir, Spare, dropped in January 2023, unloading a torrent of royal grievances so lavish that readers wondered if it was a tell-all or a tell-all over again. South Park gleefully rechristened it Wah, complete with trumpets blaring every time Harry flipped to a new complaint chapter. Meanwhile, Meghan's famous Oprah line, "Basic human right to privacy," became the centerpiece of a cartoon megaphone solo, as if to ask, how do you scream for silence? In one standout gag, animated Meghan builds a towering fortress of letter-filled binders, only to have it collapse under the weight of her own dramatics. Harry, clutching his tattered manuscript, prowls around like a general rallying troops, each shout echoing emptily in the surreal campgrounds of privacy pretension. By weaving their real-life soundbites into its script, South Park didn't just parody the couple, it handed them a satirical replay of their own PR playbook. The result? A collision so seamless that viewers could barely tell where the memoir ended and the mockery began. But the world's reaction proved the parody had struck a nerve. When the episode dropped, reactions went nuclear. Fans from Paris to Perth flooded social feeds with memes of Meghan's crumbling binder fortress and Harry bellowing at invisible paparazzi. Bubble Blabber hailed it an 8.5 out of 10 for brutal accuracy, while The Independent dubbed it a comedic knockout that landed square on their public image. Even late-night hosts looped the best gags, asking if the Sussexes had planned their own roast. Overnight, every satirical jab became a trending hashtag, hashtag privacy parade, hashtag Watour, hashtag Sussex satire. International outlets from France's Le Point to India's NDTV highlighted the scene where cartoon Meghan storms off stage in a puff of glitter, underscoring how global the mockery became. Comments ranged from, "They scripted this themselves," to, "Next time, aim for subtlety." This wasn't idle giggling, it was a verdict. Public sympathy hit a wall when the world saw their privacy crusade reduced to punchlines. In the court of viewer opinion, being skewered by one of television's sharpest satirists is as damning as any tabloid exposé. Up next, the surprising aftermath when the spotlight finally shifted. After the laughs died down, a curious silence set in, one that spoke louder than any megaphone. Harry and Meghan's nonstop push for privacy morphed into a branding treadmill nobody signed up for. Their demand for quiet turned into an endless publicity circuit. Book tours, interviews, podcasts, each billed as a plea for peace yet teeming with headlines. Take Harry's recent BBC appeal. He begged for discretion while unveiling fresh details about his security battle, and then lost his court case to reinstate taxpayer-funded protection. Overnight, critics seized on the irony, the prince asking for privacy in one breath, then publicly litigating it in the next. Media outlets from the Daily Mail to CNN noted that every new interview or legal bid only added fuel to the very spotlight they claimed to flee. Behind closed doors, insiders whisper that the couple's pivot away from royal life was supposed to grant them freedom. Yet their victim narrative has become a gilded cage. Fans who once cheered their breakaway now yawn at every fresh reveal, their attention span fractured by nonstop coverage. When privacy feels like a performance art piece, audiences start scrolling on. And as the Sussexes juggle memoirs, megaphones, and media appearances, one question looms. Can you ever truly retreat from a stage you built with your own headlines? Next up, how they might reclaim control, and whether it's already too late. Now, imagine flipping the script entirely, trading choreographed pity for genuine purpose. To climb out of the satire spiral, Harry and Meghan must pivot from victim branding to value-driven storytelling. That means swapping megaphones for meaningful actions, highlighting their Archewell initiatives, showcasing real-world impact in mental health, veteran support, and environmental causes. Viewers tune in for authenticity. Manufactured drama only breeds cynicism. Next, scale back the 24/7 media blitz. Rather than launching another book or sit down every few months, opt for occasional, thoughtfully curated updates. A short, unscripted video message about a charity project, no PR taglines, no dramatic pauses, can restore trust far more effectively than another Vanity Fair cover story. When silence becomes the new statement, you reclaim the power to speak on your own terms. Finally, lean into behind-the-scenes moments that humanize rather than dramatize. A candid clip of Harry coaching a youth soccer team or Meghan meeting with grassroots organizers shifts attention from spectacle to substance. It doesn't erase the parody, but it does redirect the conversation toward impact rather than insult. Up next, the final verdict. Can this strategy help them escape the punchlines once and for all? Behind the scenes, whispers from palace aides and PR veterans reveal a mix of disbelief and glee at how South Park dismantled the Sussex strategy. One former communications director, speaking under condition of anonymity, confessed, "We spent Monday morning trading clips of Meghan's binder collapse like it was the Super Bowl highlights. It was equal parts cringe and genius." Inside the palace press office, staffers were said to be passing around memes of Cartman-style Harry brandishing his "Wah" banner, with one aide joking, "I wouldn't be surprised if Trey Parker and Matt Stone got a special invite to our next briefing, just to teach us how to stage a takedown." Meanwhile, top PR consultants privately applauded the couple's decision to ignore the lawsuit rumors. As one agency had put it, the smartest move was the non-move. No cease and desist, no press release, just silence. That's how you sidestep a 3-alarmed fire without adding gasoline. Industry insiders note that the episode has since become a training tool. Dropbox folders full of annotated clips are now standard in media training sessions, labeled "What Not to Do When Demanding Privacy." Even at Viacom-CBS, executives admitted that the sketch cemented South Park's legacy.
The diversity
"We knew the show had
of the
bite,"
UK
a network
and the
executive told
culture and
Variety,
how that was part of
but
the
watching
fabric
two of
nation.
the
And
world's
when I
most
saw
famous
that,
people inadvertently write their own roast, that's satire gold. All these behind-closed-doors reactions share one common thread, a recognition that Harry and Meghan's PR playbook was rewritten for them by a cartoon. Next up, the ripple effects of this episode on public perception and the broader media landscape. This episode did more than lampoon one high-profile couple. It set off a seismic aftershock across entertainment, politics, and branding. Media scholars point to camp privacy as a prime example of rapid-fire social commentary in the digital age. Within days, marketing teams at Fortune 500 companies were downloading clips to use in training sessions, warning spokespeople against staging overly polished narratives that open them up to parody. Influencers and politicians tracked every detail, knowing that a single misstep could be broadcast and satirized within hours. Twitter threads dissected how South Park distilled a complex saga into 3 minutes of ruthless comedy, proving that in today's attention economy, audience memory is shaped by the sharpest, most shareable moments. Even university journalism departments added the episode to their syllabi under Satire in the Public Sphere, challenging students to analyze how humor can function as a check on powerful voices. Brands took notice too. Executives from top agencies reported a spike in demand for authentic storytelling workshops as clients realized that audiences are quick to spot and mock contrived messaging. Case studies now include side-by-side comparisons of the Sussexes' highly produced privacy content versus grassroots campaigns from nonprofits that favor raw, unscripted footage. In the world of streaming and short-form video, the episode's legacy lives on through countless TikTok duets and Instagram reels. Everyday creators remix clips to comment on everything from corporate press releases to celebrity apologies, using South Park's template to highlight the gap between intention and perception. The result is a cultural ecosystem where transparency isn't just valued, it's a survival skill. By turning a royal PR stunt into a global lesson in media savvy, South Park didn't just entertain, it rewrote the playbook for anyone who hopes to control their narrative in an age of infinite mirrors. Next up, the concrete lessons every public figure should take from the camp privacy phenomenon. The Sussex saga offers a masterclass in what not to do, and a roadmap for how to do it right. First, ditch the drama. When your brand revolves around grievances and staged theatrics, you hand satirists the perfect ammunition. Instead, lead with genuine stories. Spotlight a single volunteer in your charity program, share a behind-the-scenes moment of failure turned into a lesson, or let unscripted laughter shine through. Authenticity resonates far more than any choreographed sob story. Second, Respect the silence. Every time you break the silence with a glitzy book launch or high-profile interview, you're begging for attention and inviting critique. Choose strategic pauses instead. A well-timed, low-key update on progress in a community initiative can reframe you from headline fodder to humble doer. Let your actions carry the weight, not your press statements. Third, leverage humility as a branding tool. Public figures who succeed in recapturing goodwill often lean into self-deprecation, acknowledging past missteps, poking fun at themselves, or inviting critics to join a conversation rather than launching a counterattack. It disarms hostility and builds trust faster than any polished press release. Finally, prepare for rapid-fire parody by keeping messaging lean. In today's breakneck media cycle, the sharpest, shortest soundbite wins. Train spokespeople to deliver core points in a single, memorable sentence, then move on. Overloading audiences with pages of talking points is an invitation to edit you into a caricature. By internalizing these lessons, prioritizing authenticity, embracing strategic silence, practicing humble storytelling, and honing concise messaging, anyone in the public eye can avoid becoming the next camp privacy case study. Up next, the final verdict. Can these strategies help Harry and Meghan escape the punchlines once and for all? Satire's swift strike on Harry and Meghan signals a broader shift in how narratives are controlled and dismantled in the streaming era. Gone are the days when a polished press release could ride untouched through news cycles. Now, a 3-minute animated gag can redefine headlines overnight. Platforms like TikTok and YouTube Shorts amplify this effect as creators clip, remix, and recontextualize show segments within hours, embedding jokes into global conversations. For media strategists, the lesson is clear. Any message not battle-tested against rapid parody risks being commandeered by an army of meme makers. Looking ahead, we'll see more hybrid satire news formats that blur lines between commentary and comedy. News outlets are already incorporating comedian-style roundups in their digital feeds, while streaming services invest in topical animation specials. Public figures must anticipate this convergence and factor in comedic reinterpretation as part of their launch plans. Imagine a book tour trailer now accompanied by a disclaimer. Watch responsibly, your next soundbite could end up in a cartoon. Embracing this reality early can turn potential mockery into mutual promotion rather than a reputation-raising ambush. At the same time, audience expectations are evolving. Viewers crave authenticity, but also crave the catharsis of collective laughter at power's expense. Brands and personalities who acknowledge satire, perhaps by releasing response skits, behind-the-scenes laughs, or even co-producing humor segments, can convert would-be critics into collaborators. In this fluid media ecosystem, the future belongs to those who can dance with the satire rather than dodge it. Coming up, the real-time playbook for staying ahead of the joke. In a 24/7 news cycle, the speed of response can make or break a public figure's image. The Sussex camp's choice to stay silent on lawsuit rumors was strategic, but listening and reacting thoughtfully can be just as powerful. First, set up satire alerts, AI-driven monitoring that flags comedic content referencing your name, so you learn within minutes when a new parody drops. That extra lead time lets your team craft a measured response rather than a knee-jerk reaction. Next, develop a modular PR toolkit designed for satire. Instead of crafting full statements for every scenario, prepare short, adaptable sound bites that can be deployed immediately. For example, "We appreciate the humor and are proud our story sparks creativity," or "Glad to see our memoir inspired such inspired storytelling." These pre-approved lines acknowledge the joke without getting bogged down in legalese or defensive language. Finally, harness satire as engagement fuel. Invite content creators to submit their best parodies, then spotlight the funniest ones on your official channels. This not only neutralizes negativity, but also builds goodwill with younger, humor-savvy audiences. When Jonah Hill joined in on South Park's own roast years ago, it turned a moment of potential embarrassment into a ratings boon. By owning the joke in real time, public figures can transform satire from a threat into a stage. They've weathered scathing satire, shrugged off lawsuit rumors, and watched their own words become the world's punchlines. Yet the real test lies ahead. Can Harry and Meghan swap spectacle for sincerity before audiences tune out for good? Their next move, whether a genuine spotlight on charitable work or a strategic embrace of well-earned silence will determine if they emerge as more than just characters in someone else's joke. What do you think? Will they break free from their self-made stage, or is the privacy tour destined to be their greatest irony? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you've ever felt the sting of public scrutiny, and don't forget to subscribe for more takes on celebrity culture's biggest moments.